Okay, I know what you're thinking. Mr. Dudley's back. You're wrong. This is Mr. Dudley's front. This is Mr. Dudley's back. Well, if you didn't know that, you're not... Guess you never took human A&P. Wow. Okay, got to work on that. Okay, here we go. Now what I said was, any number, if you're multiplying fractions, any number on top and any other one on the bottom of either one, if there's something in common, something you can divide both of them by, you can do it. Let's try this. How about in the same fraction? 6 and 9 can both be divided by 3. So if I divide 6 by 3, that's 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Both these I can divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. But look at here. Oh, wow. Now, there's a 2 here and a 4 there. I can divide both of those by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Nothing else on top can divide by anything else on the bottom. So now, only now let's multiply. What's on top? 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 2 is 6. There's the answer. Now, what if you had not done all that? What if you had done 6 times 3 and got whatever that is, that's 18. 9 times 12, that's, some big ugly number, and then try to reduce that? Oh, that would be very difficult to do. Don't do it. Do it this way first. Let's keep going with the same thing again. Let's show you how you could have done this. Same problem. Now in this case, we divided both those by the same number, and then divided both those. How about this? This and this can both divide by 3. Well, this divided by 3 is 1. This divided by 3 is 3. I can divide those by, well, let's see, by 2. I can divide those by 3. I can divide those by 6. Well, the biggest number I can divide both of them by is 6. Let's do that one. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 12 divided by 6 is 2. Now, look at there, same thing. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 2 is 6. So here, the main thing, anytime you multiply fractions, you multiply the two numerators, you multiply the two denominators, and that's all. But then you sometimes have to reduce the final answer. If you do this first, you'll never have to reduce the final answer. So it's just a handy way of kind of speeding things up and not having to reduce some big ugly bunch of numbers in some crazy looking fraction. One caution before we go any further. You could have 3 numbers multiplied, 3 fractions. 1/4 times 3/4 times whatever. You do, let's do one. 1/4 times 2/3 times 1/6. You do what? Multiply 1 times 2 times 1 and get that. Multiply 4 times 3, then times 6 and get that. You'll probably never encounter stuff like this in the real medical world as a nurse, but it wouldn't hurt to do. I think perhaps there might be some in the homework. If there are, do them. Of course, if they're not, it doesn't matter. I forgot to check. Let's do one more, though, where you cancel first. Technically, you multiply the two top numbers. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 10 is 80. Then you'd have to reduce that. But let's cancel and reduce first. It makes it quicker in most cases. 4 and 8, I can divide both those by the same number. 2 and 10, I can divide both of those by the same number. Now this on top 4 here, the other one 10, I can divide both those by the same number, by 2. I can divide this 2 and this 8 both by 2. Take your pick, it doesn't matter. I can say, let's see here, 4 and 2, I can divide both those by 2. Divide this by 2, that's 2. Divide this by 2, that's 5. Wow. This and this, divide both those by 2. This divided by 2 is 1. This divided by 2 is 4. Oh, but now, 2 and 4. I can divide both those by 2. Are you still with me? 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. What's left? On top, 1 times 1 is 1. On the bottom, 2 times 5 is 10. There you go. So there are some problems here. In the homework, there'll be at least one on your quiz over multiplying fractions. So get used to this. This canceling thing will just help make it easier and quicker, although it's not mandatory. It's just better. Well, we're going to stop here. Our next video is going to be dividing fractions. So no big deal. Don't get worked up over it. Don't foam at the mouth or have some kind of fit or something. It's good.